Hello everyone, my name's Audrey Perkins and I'm one of the arts editors at the Indiana Daily Student. Today I'm going to show you guys how to make Scotch eggs. So for the first part, here are the ingredients. All of the measurements can be found online or in the Housing and Living Guide. But I have ground pork, boiled eggs, some seasonings, water, and pre-made biscuit dough. So for the first step, take your ground meat and add your seasoning. So I've got some chopped carrots and onions that have been sauteed to kind of dehydrate them. And then I also have salt, pepper, and chopped rosemary that you see here. So just add those in as well and take a spoon or a spatula or even your hands and start to incorporate all the seasonings into the mix. So just keep pushing the meat. You don't really want to aggravate it too much or you might lose the actual bite of the shape of the meat. So you want to just kind of push it and kind of poke at it until it mixes together. At the end, you'll reach something that looks kind of like this. So I cut the middle chopping part out for you guys. And when you're done, just set it aside and take maybe 1 or 2 tablespoons for each Scotch egg. And like I'm doing, kind of push it into a disc shape and push the middle in a little bit and push an egg inside. So you'll want your hands to be a little bit wet so that the meat doesn't stick to you, and just keep pushing the meat around the egg. It will resist you a little bit because the egg is very slick. And just keep pushing until it creates a very uniform meatball. You don't want any air pockets, so make sure that you press really well. And just keep rolling and playing with it until it creates something that looks kind of like this. And then when you're done with it, set it aside and keep going. Right here I've taken a pre-made biscuit. You could use any brand you want. Make sure your hands are a little bit wet and press all the air out. And make sure your hands are wet again. If you don't keep your hands wet like I did with the meat as well, everything will start to stick to you. So just push all the edges out. You want to kind of press them open. Just make sure you don't tear the dough. You want to make sure that it reaches a disc that's maybe 5 inches in diameter. And put your meatball in and pull 2 corners together so that it helps you create a seam of sorts. So this will be the bottom of the Scotch egg, so that if there is something that happens because of the seam, it's the weakest part of the Scotch egg, it'll be on the bottom. But try here to make sure that there's no openings or anything. Just make sure that it's a very clean, seamless ball, and just keep playing with it until you achieve something that looks kind of like this. And set it aside when you're done. So I've got 4 Scotch eggs here. One of them kind of made it out of the shot, but that's a half recipe. And just put a little bit of egg wash on the top with a pastry brush. When you look at things in the bakery, generally they use a egg wash to make the surface very shiny and pretty. I'm doing the same thing here. You can use your fingers as well if you do not have a pastry brush. It works just the same way. I'll be honest, it feels a little gross, but it does the job. You could also use the back of a spoon, but that's not as effective. So if you want to be like me, I switched back to my pastry brush to do the last third one. And just make sure that you brush it very well. You want to have that nice kind of coating on the outside. And for the last step, you'll want to add a sprinkling of salt and pepper. That'll add an extra layer of flavor as you bite into this. So just season it up a bit and then set it aside while you go and get your baking sheet ready. So I have mine lined with a sheet of foil. It does not have to be greased. There's plenty of fat in the biscuit dough. And just set your Scotch eggs down. I made a zigzag pattern of sorts with them. You want to make sure that there's about 2 inches of space in between them so that as they kind of swell in the oven, they don't touch each other. So just lay them down, make sure that there's no imperfections at the last minute before you put it in the oven. And take it away and put it in the oven at 375 degrees for 30 to 40 minutes. So here's the final product. It will get a little bit bigger in the oven, but just to show you guys what it looks like inside, here is the layering effect that I just love about this recipe. Enjoy, guys!